Welcome back, Heroclix fans. Today I'm happy to bring to you another tournament review featuring a 200-point theme team that I played in my last tournament. As you can see, it is an animal themed team. We have Squirrel Girl, we have Lockjaw and Hairball, and we have Kazar. And this was actually something that I put together at the last minute. I really wanted to try Lockjaw, and I just didn't really at 200 points, couldn't use him with Black Bolt, and any of the other Inhumans really didn't give me an option that I really wanted to play at 200 points. I could have played Crystal, but you know, I figured I would do something different, maybe try to do an animal team because they're, you know, lower points, and then I could maybe have an advantage at 200 points with, you know, more than one or two figures. So I figured if I could play 3 figures, I'd give myself a pretty good chance to swarm my opponents. So anyways, let's get into the review of this team. As you can tell, these figures are all super rares, and at least 2 of these sculpts are probably, you know, up there in the best sculpts in the game today. Ka-Zar is definitely an amazing sculpt, as you can see here. That's just incredible. Very, very nice. That is from the Hulk set. And then we have Lockjaw and Hairball. This is from Chaos Wars, and that's a duo, and Kazar is a duo. And then we have Squirrel Girl. This one is a super rare from Captain America. So let's go into a little bit of a review and discussion about what these figures bring to the table. Squirrel Girl is 59 points. She has stealth, she has combat reflexes, and exploit weakness, no range, and she is not a duo. Basically, with her trait, you can take Monkey Joe off and use him as a Pog, or you can leave him on the base and it gives Squirrel Girl super senses. So that's really, really effective for her. Then we have Lockjaw. He has leadership, and he can take tokens off of higher point characters if they are pet Avengers, or animal. Now Lockjaw and Hairball are the highest points on this team, so that's not really into effect. So just normal leadership will take off tokens, so that's fine. There's a trait, basically if they make an attack, they can choose to knock back the opponent 2 squares. If they make, and then on their damage special, if they succeed with their super senses, the person that attacks them, they can be knocked back 2 squares. So that's pretty nice. They are a transporter, so you have the transporter attack where you can move your movement and then attack with a -2 and do your damage. You won't be able to do duo attack with that, but it's still pretty nice, and I was surprised how effective it was. Even though they start off with a 9 attack, which is not that, you know, not that great. They are 82 points though, so you know, you kind of give and take. What they bring to the table is surprisingly pretty good. So then we have Kazar. Now he is 55 points, and I don't believe any of these figures have team abilities. Stealth figure, we have blades, we have combat reflexes, and they also have leadership. But on this team, they are the lowest points, so they're not able to take off any tokens, but they can add actions. This team has 3 figures, so if they want to all attack or move in one turn, you have to at least get one of the leaderships, because at 200 points you only have 2 actions. And they're, like I said, they are duo as well. Now they only start off with 2 damage, so if you decide that you want to use the duo, you're doing 2 damage and then 1 damage. Or you can just do blades, which I used to pretty good effort, especially in my first game. So yeah, this was actually a pretty fun team. Some of the strategies that I was using, I would carry Squirrel Girl with Lockjaw, use the transporter ability, and move up 11 squares, because if you carry someone, you -2. So I'd move up 11 squares, carrying Squirrel Girl, use my transporter attack. Yes, on this figure it's only going to be a 7 attack, but you'd be surprised, I actually made the attack at least twice. And they have 3 damage, so that's a pretty good open-end smack. They start off with super senses and toughness they have, so that's really good. And then you slap in Squirrel Girl right up next to the character. Now you want to do this when your opponent either has 1 token or 2 tokens. They would move, and then Squirrel Girl cannot attack that turn. So then your next turn, she can attack, because you cannot attack or be moved if you've been carried in a turn. So, you know, 1 turn I'd move them up. The next turn I would have Squirrel Girl attack. Now, in any situation, you could also push her to do that 2 turns in a row, because her exploit weakness is pretty huge. And at 200 points, it's actually pretty nasty with that 10 attack. And I was able to, you know, get up on someone and attack with exploit weakness and take someone off, like impervious or something. So that was really, really effective, honestly. And then Kazar would just move up. And then if it looked like I needed to push, I would push. So that was pretty much how that team was run. Use your stealth if you're going against someone that would, you know, be able to pick you off, because their defenses are 16s with combat reflexes. So a ranged figure is looking to just pick you off. So you have to be able to get into stealth. And that's where Lockjaw can carry Squirrel Girl and drop her in stealth, you know, vice versa. They can't be carried because they're a duo, but, you know, that's how that works. So the first match I played Michael, and Michael had a Genis Veil. He potentially an opportunity to pulse wave me, and decided against it so that the next turn he would be able to set up and really do some massive damage to me. And I kind of got a little bit aggressive. He cleared, and I based him with Lockjaw and dropped Squirrel Girl. He actually missed his attack roll on Squirrel Girl, and then I attacked with Squirrel Girl, and I was able to get through the first 2 clicks, and then the look on the dial basically made me decide that I had to push Kazar. And this was the huge part of it. I was able to hit and roll a 6 with blades, and then that pretty much sealed the game. You know, it was actually a pretty good strategic match up until then, but anytime someone rolls a 6 with blades, and I believe he was at toughness on the dial. Yeah, he had toughness. It was this click right here, hypersonic, steel energy, toughness, and then that crazy perplex. I saw that and I was like, I cannot let him get that. So I had to push on that, and I was, fortunately for me, I was able to get that. So that's that. That was that match. And then my second match, I went up against a Neymar and Beast Boy team. He was using Beast Boy to outsider Neymar, so all of those stats you get for transporter and carrying, he got all of that was null and void. So that was really, really difficult. I was able to use the same strategy with Lockjaw and Squirrel Girl, but when I actually hit him with Lockjaw, it was surprising. So I took him off his first click, and then Squirrel Girl missed, I believe it was a 6 twice, and I think on the second time I crit missed. And then it was just pretty much downhill from there, and Beast Boy tied up Lockjaw and Kazar. Obviously Lockjaw could have been able to get away, but I just was based with the whole team, so there really was no reason to get away, and I couldn't pick up Kazar. When Kazar got taken off his first click, he was rolling pretty hot, and he got leap climb, and I tried to get over to Neymar. I actually got Neymar down to his second to last click, but it just wasn't enough. I wasn't able to hit my super senses rolls or pretty much anything. It was a hard fought match, and that player actually ended up winning the whole tournament. So as you can tell, it was a pretty solid team, and he was doing really good with that team. My third and final match, Vision off his first click, and then he got onto that 16 impervious, and Squirrel Girl was, it took actually 2 turns to hit it, but I was able to get through the impervious, and then I pushed with Squirrel Girl to finish him off, and then it was really difficult to get to Hawkeye, but I was able to, I think again, I was able to get a Lockjaw transporter attack off and take him off that first click, and then was able to just, you know, nick him down with this team. So I ended up going 2-1. I was really impressed with this team. I did not think this team was going to do all that well, but it played well. I mean, each one of these figures is not bad, but you have to play this team very carefully. You can't just run them out there. They have strengths, but they have a lot of weaknesses as well. So I thought this was fun, and it's always neat to just throw something interesting out there. Definitely not overpowering figures in my book, but they played pretty well. Tell me what you guys think about this team. Is this a pretty cool 200-point animal team? What would you guys play?